Testicular mesothelioma is a cancer that starts off evolved forming in the mesothelial lining of the testicles. The mesothelial lining is the fibrous tissue that protects numerous organs in the frame, including the lungs, belly, intestines, and heart. The mesothelial lining of the testicles is known as the tunica vaginalis. It's in vital tissue that permits for the wholesome motion of the testicles. Testicular mesothelioma is believed to be triggered after the affected character inhales or ingests asbestos fibers and they turn out to be lodged deep in the shielding testicle linings. After a length of 10 to 50 years, the patient will start to enjoy symptoms of testicular mesothelioma. The median life expectancy of a patient identified with testicular mesothelioma is around 20 months. However, if detected early sufficient, sufferers can go through surgery and anti-cancer remedies to increase lifestyles. Not like pleural or peritoneal mesothelioma, which can effortlessly be traced to asbestos exposure. Doctors do not but apprehend how asbestos exposure can cause a primary tumor to increase on the tunica vaginalis, the pouch of serous membrane that covers the testes. It appears as company white-yellow nodules on the floor of the tunica vaginalis. The nodules can finally encase the contents of the scrotum and cause the membrane to thicken. Local trauma and infection additionally may also play a position in its development. Some instances present with non-identifiable risk factors. Additionally known as mesothelioma of the tunica vaginalis testis, is the rarest form of the lethal cancer. This sort of mesothelioma, which is discovered within the testicles, is so rare that researchers have not but advanced a thorough listing of signs or a widespread treatment regimen. The more not unusual sorts of mesothelioma are pleural mesothelioma. The more not unusual sorts of mesothelioma are pleural mesothelioma, peritoneal mesothelioma, and pericardial mesothelioma, determined inside the tissue surrounding the coronary heart. Early symptoms of testicular mesothelioma can be incorrect for harm or ailments including epididymitis, which includes infection of the testicles. Common signs and symptoms of testicular include hydrocele, fluid inside the scrotum, testicular ache, swollen testes, fluid buildup inside the scrotum, a massive tissue buildup inside the testicle, lump in scrotum. A lump in the testes is the most not unusual sign of testicular mesothelioma, the rarest of all varieties of mesothelioma. It accounts for less than 1% of all mesothelioma instances. What reasons those signs is a thickening of the tunica vaginalis tissue. When odd mobile boom starts off evolved, the body counteracts with inflammation. As inflammation increases, The testicles lining thickens. This is followed by using a production of fluid, which reasons further swelling. Swelling and hundreds inside the testicle can without difficulty be unsuitable for other, far greater common situations, like a hernia. A misdiagnosis is straightforward to make, however also can be deadly. If you experience any of the above signs, make certain to contact. All different varieties of mesothelioma are because of the identical issue: asbestos exposure. Asbestos is a risky and toxic substance used in construction and industrial applications for many years in the course of the 20th century. Many humans came into touch with asbestos on a normal foundation, and from time to time that contact was at dangerously high degrees. Asbestos exposure now not handiest reasons mesothelioma but different lethal respiration situations and cancers as properly. Even as the other types of mesothelioma, which include pleural, peritoneal, and pericardial, have direct and recognized links to asbestos exposure, it remains uncertain whether asbestos exposure is the only reason of testicular mesothelioma. A few reviews indicate that during fewer than half of all cases of testicular mesothelioma turned into their recognized records of asbestos publicity. But, what else ought to motive testicular mesothelioma nonetheless remains a thriller. In instances in which asbestos is the motive of testicular mesothelioma, it occurs because of a mobile mutation of healthy cells into atypical cells prompted by way of this regarded carcinogen. It's no longer regarded how asbestos fibers end up inside the tunica vaginalis in the first place. In the instances of pleural and peritoneal mesothelioma, the asbestos fibers are inhaled or ingested respectively. They then make their way into the lungs or digestive system. Right now, it's uncertain what path the asbestos fibers take so one can attain the tunica vaginalis. However, when they make their manner into this inclined tissue, they can't be expelled. As an alternative, they remain trapped deep inside the tunica vaginalis for years or decades. After an extended period of causing inflammation and infection, eventually, in any other case, healthful cells turn strange and begin dividing and spreading quickly. Unchecked cell boom is the basis of most cancers, and is what ultimately results in fatalities. As most cancers spreads, it shuts down nearby organs and spreads into the immune filtration system. Like any cancers, testicular mesothelioma can be managed or stopped with early remedy intervention. If medical doctors stumble on testicular mesothelioma early sufficient, they can prevent it from spreading to remote sites and provide the affected person a better risk at survival. Early symptoms of testicular mesothelioma can be incorrect for harm or ailments including epididymitis, which includes infection of the testicles. Common signs and symptoms of testicular include Hydrocele, fluid inside the scrotum. Testicular ache. Swollen testes. Fluid buildup inside the scrotum. A massive tissue buildup inside the testicle. Lump in scrotum. A lump in the testes is the most not unusual sign of testicular mesothelioma. The rarest of all varieties of mesothelioma. It accounts for less than 1% of all mesothelioma instances. What reasons those signs is a thickening of the tunica vaginalis tissue. When odd mobile boom starts off evolved, the body counteracts with inflammation. As inflammation increases, the testicles lining thickens. This is followed by using a production of fluid, which reasons further swelling. Swelling and hundreds inside the testicle can without difficulty be unsuitable for other, far greater common situations, like a hernia. A misdiagnosis is straightforward to make, however also can be deadly. If you experience any of the above signs, make certain to contact. After an affected person offers with symptoms or if a testicle irregularity is determined upon examination, a doctor will order photo testing, probable an ultrasound. A testicular mesothelioma ultrasound is a non-invasive, low-hazard process that makes use of sound waves to create a photograph of the scrotum. The ultrasound may also show any swelling like hydrocele or loads which could have developed. Research have recommended that about 56% of testicular mesothelioma patients present with a hydrocele, whilst approximately 33% gift some stable mass within the testes. Following an ultrasound, a health practitioner will probably take a blood check or assay to assist decide the reason of signs and symptoms, and with a bit of luck offer early detection of any most cancers. Blood assessments may be most useful to rule out more, not unusual kinds of testicular cancer. For mesothelioma, mainly, there are biomarkers within the blood that doctors can look for to help detect the asbestos most cancers early, including SMRP. However, those have now not been studied in testicular mesothelioma. Although a blood take a look at can recommend a mesothelioma analysis, the only definitive manner to diagnose the cancer is through a tissue biopsy. The biopsy will typically be the closing step of the diagnostic technique and could decide cellular kind and staging. This could then provide insight right into a affected person's diagnosis. Additional checks may be finished to higher decide metastasis to the lymph nodes or different components of the body and secondary tumors. Expertise in the level of most cancers is a crucial issue in determining a patient's diagnosis and developing the perfect treatment plan. Considering that this shape of mesothelioma is so rare, medical doctors do no longer have sufficient statistics to expand the right staging gadget. Instead, Docs will use fashionable mesothelioma characteristics to determine how superior a affected person's case is, and the way it might be expected to develop. Level 1 or Level 2 testicular mesothelioma suggests a localized tumor with restrained or no cancer increase. Sufferers can have greater treatment alternatives, like surgical resection, because cancer becomes extra advanced and spreads to the lymph nodes and different organs. Remedy alternatives are greater confined and diagnosis worsens. Testicular mesothelioma has commonly proven a higher analysis than other kinds of the ailment, due to the fact it's far greater localized and numerous documented times of mesothelioma of the tunica vaginalis have been benign. Researchers have observed the median survival is usually around 20-23 months. Although some sufferers have lived years after being diagnosed. This is higher than different types of mesothelioma, with an existence expectancy of handiest about 12 months to 21 months. Several factors can have an effect on a character-affected person's analysis, along with mesothelioma cellular kind, tumor length and staging, age of the patient. As with other kinds of mesothelioma, the cancerous cells show a competitive growth rate and the potential to metastasize quickly. Moreover, there's a high threat of recurrence. One observation found the recurrence charge changed to at least 53%. With a minimum of 60% taking place within 2 years after a hit remedy. For those with recurrent testicular mesothelioma, research shows an average existence expectancy of approximately 14 months. Testicular mesothelioma tumors may be benign or malignant. However, most cases are not identified early sufficient for treatment to be considered curative, aimed toward killing the most cancer cells absolutely and stopping further boom. Nonetheless, there are testicular mesothelioma treatment options, specifically surgical treatment, which can increase the patient's existence or provide ache comfort. Testicular mesothelioma treatment alternatives encompass radical inguinal orchiectomy. This surgical operation to do away with the testicle is the most common treatment for testicular cancers worldwide. In keeping with the James Buchanan Brady Urological Institute at Johns Hopkins. Extrasurgical procedures. Because testicular mesothelioma diagnoses are so uncommon, medical doctors may keep in mind different surgeries, precise to every case. One common procedure is a lymphadenectomy to dispose of lymph nodes around the site to test for the spread of cancer. Chemotherapy. This is a common type of treatment for lots cancers. It'll no longer get rid of testicular mesothelioma. However, it is able to slow the spread of the disease and provide a remedy for sufferers. Surgery may be followed by chemotherapy with cisplatin and pemetrexed. the long-standing standard of care treatment for mesothelioma. Doctors may offer radiation therapy next to kill any remaining cancer cells and prevent the cancer from returning. Only 5.3% of patients received radiation therapy in the 2019 study. Researchers could not determine if adjuvant therapy has an impact on overall survival, given such a small cohort. In some cases, testicular mesothelioma is a secondary tumor, with the primary tumor located within the peritoneum. Testicular mesothelioma is a very uncommon shape of most cancers due to asbestos publicity. It reasons cancerous tumors to form in the shielding lining that covers the testicles. Testicular mesothelioma cause painful signs, which includes excessive swelling. However, it has a barely higher analysis than mesothelioma that paperwork within the lungs, abdomen, and heart. Little is known approximately testicular mesothelioma as compared to greater commonplace paperwork, such as peritoneal or pleural mesothelioma. Quick facts about testicular mesothelioma. Much less than 1% of mesothelioma instances impacts older adult males, commonly over the age of 55 years vintage. Has a lifestyle expectancy of roughly 20 to 25 months, that is better than the 12 to 21 months life expectancy of pleural or peritoneal mesothelioma. Develops after a latent duration of 20 to 50 years published exposure to asbestos. Treatment entails surgical elimination of the affected testicle, generally observed by way of chemotherapy and/or radiation remedy. Specialized mesothelioma docs around the US of A are available to deal with you now. Because mesothelioma is such a rare shape of cancer, simplest medical doctors who significant revel in mesothelioma research and treatment can effectively deal with affected patients. If you or a person you like has been identified with testicular mesothelioma, then it's essential to e-book an appointment with a specialist for a second opinion. Trendy oncologists do not have the experience that's required to lay out effective remedy plans. The pinnacle mesothelioma specialists are taking new patients at treatment centers across the U.S. Here are a number of the top mesothelioma specialists. Dr. David Jablons, United States Helen Diller Circle of Relatives Comprehensive, San Francisco, CA. Dr. Brian Lodge, CHI Health Facility, Omaha, NE. Dr. Edward Levine, Wake Wooded Area College Clinical Middle, Winston-Salem, NC. Testicular mesothelioma sufferers may be eligible for prison reimbursement to cover their remedy costs, tour expenses, and other damages. Mesothelioma patients are the sufferers of negligence committed by using the asbestos producers. As a result, sufferers are eligible to report claims or proceedings against various companies that knowingly positioned their fitness at hazard. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, touch our patient advocates tag. We're here to assist evaluate your case and place you in contact with an experienced criminal team that will let you report or declare correctly.